Hey gang, Season 8, Episode 2 of Shark Tank. We're talking about it on AFTERBUZZ TV. In this week's episode, we have Lapel Project, Good Hangups, Ice Age Meals, and Tack to Bite Fish Call. It's me and Zoe Hewitt. Next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV super fan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Shark Tank After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm Cameron Lewis at the only camshaft. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I have that. Zoe Hewitt, what's going on?
Hey, it is an empty table tonight. It is just the two of us, but we are going to have that much more fun. I'm Zoe Hewitt. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zoe Said What. That's Zoe Said What.
I love Chris.
Yeah.
But we can do this.
Oh, yeah.
We have fun. You know, it's relaxing. Chris, we got legendary living and stuff. It's like, that's intimidating, dude. That's intimidating. But he'll probably be back next week, Chris Howard. So you can follow him, Chris Howard Live, I believe, on Twitter and all of the good stuff. So we're already 2 episodes in. Biggest thing I noticed, I thought that the intro we saw last week was temporary. Looks like they're going with that, and I kind of dig it.
I liked it for last week.
Yeah.
It's getting old already for this week.
Do you prefer the... These are the sharks.
I think I do. I might be a creature of habit. I do love the photos of them as they were younger.
I love that.
I love that.
Yeah, they should do it like a hybrid version.
Yes.
Where it's like, these are the sharks, blah, 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 Robert, blah, blah, blah. But
Yep.
tell, like, we get they're successful.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell us on that anymore because we're already impressed.
You know what it is that's bothering me with this new one? It's the flashbacks to the old episodes. It's just
Yeah, it just doesn't
distracting
fit,
to me.
yeah.
It doesn't fit. So
I
I
agree.
think if it were just the younger sharks, I'd be good with it.
Yeah,
But it's the flashbacks.
it's not as stylish.
No.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I'm so glad you brought it up because I thought of it. Also, that sentence ended and it felt
I was
it
like,
needed
what?
to continue.
What's happening next, Zoe? Hey to Fantasy Stats Guru who's watching live. We love you. Welcome back.
We missed you last week.
So first up in the tank tonight, the Lapel Project. This is the customizable lapels for your suit jacket that turns it into a tux. $150,000 for 20% is what they are seeking in the tank. Zoe, first thoughts on this one?
I kind of liked it. I'm really curious what they look like in person. And
I was too, yeah.
right, like do they look like a cheap piece of tape on the lapels or do they
Right.
look legitimate?
I think I love this because I don't think I'm ever even going to come close to owning a tux. I barely own a suit. So the one jacket I have, this is going to be great on. But I like that you can change it out, right? Like there's all kinds of different designs and stuff. I think the folded edge on the inside looks really nice. I'm a little nervous about that outside edge.
Because on one of the guys, you could see the edge a little
Yep.
bit, right?
Yeah.
But to me, it's the designs that cheapen it. So if you wanted as a novelty idea, the designs were great.
Instead of just
but-
the black or
right.
the white.
But are you really going to go to a black tie event and wear one of those
No,
crazy
definitely
designs?
not.
No, they should be
But
like
at a party.
black velvet or something.
Yeah.
But at a party, how many parties do you go to that ask for you to wear a tux?
All of them. All of the parties.
And yet you own one
Clearly,
suit.
I go to none. No, but I agree. I think, thankfully, I think the name of it, the Lapel Project, is professional enough that they could get away with kind of selling this as a hybrid between the two. You know what I mean? If it was called like, hey, Rudy Tooty, change your suitie, then it's like you're never going to get people to wear this to a black tie thing. But I did really like this. Costs $5 to $8 to make. They sell it for $49 to $100.
That's pricey.
If this was $24.95, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
I would totally buy it.
Even maybe up to $50, I feel like.
Maybe up to $50. When we're talking $100, it's like, well, at that point, I will just buy a tux, or at the
rent
very
one.
least rent one.
Yeah.
And get the cane and get the penguin suit and all that stuff going. That's what I wore to prom. It was very fun. The tails. I love it with the tails. What if they had attachable tails?
Yes, they have got
Now
to add that.
Is something you need.
I hope Sebastian and Raul are watching because we need some detachable tails.
Oh man, that would just be the best. The most surprising thing about this pitch, though, is it seems like a business is very much lives online, right? But they're not online yet. They're needing the money in the tank, mostly, I believe, to set up that e-commerce online. This is, I feel like once they do that, this will actually do really well. Because you see, I forget the company I think it was in the tank before, where it's the 2 or 3 piece suits with the full suit is like Santa Claus print, polka dots, like all this stuff. They're on Groupon all the time if you guys want to look them up. And they're like $79. You buy them online, they're good for, you know, whatever. And I feel like this would do really well next to those, maybe even on some of those deal sites to begin with, to kind of get it going. But
I think then that begs the question, is it a novelty gag gift or is it legit? Because if it's legit, I don't think it needs to be on like a Groupon site because that will cheapen it. Yeah, just like you said about the Rudy Tooty Sooty.
Rudy Tooty Sooty on Groupon.
Which I kind of love the name of, actually.
I think I'm gonna go to LegalZoom right now and just get that LLC. No, but I don't know. I kind of dig this. I hope that they can get the price to go down though.
Did you get the impression that the Sharks truly, like when they first came out, did they think it was a gag gift or did they think it was a legitimate idea?
Because I think they thought it was a gag gift.
Did they? Because I felt like I was back and forth. First I thought, okay, they think it's real, then gag, and then maybe back to real. Like, was Mark telling the truth that he would wear them? Not as a joke?
I think Mark would wear them because Mark is always, you always see him wearing t-shirts. So it very much feels like something like, oh, just throw it on. Yeah, okay. You know, he probably just put the 2 lapels on a t-shirt and call it a day. But it took him a second to get just the normal black ones out. Like the first one that, excuse me, the first one that they put on was whatever that weird one was. It was like a sheen that changed colors.
I did not love that.
That was, I don't know, I was like, okay, I don't know about that one. Lead with just the black.
Right.
And go, hey, and if you're crazy and you want stars and stripes or smiley faces, or if you're at a bachelor party and want something dirty, whatever, I think that they should have done it that way.
I think the problem is that when you do put on a tux, that's not where the pattern is. Like, you get the pattern in the vest. That's where if you're going to put on something, you know, like the stars and stripes or your bachelor party
or the tie
novelty. Right. Yeah. You don't do it on the lapels. So I think that's why, like thinking back now, that's why it felt a little off to me because the design was in the wrong spot.
I can see that. If they had the tails too, it would just only be on the tails. That would be a little weird.
It would be very weird.
Yeah, well, they ended up getting a deal.
They did. And
from
I think,
the guy who said that they, you know, he would wear them. Mark was talking about the Amazon exclusive deal.
Yeah.
I don't see this as something that would do well on Amazon personally.
Oh, you can buy everything on Amazon though.
You can, but how many people buy clothes on Amazon?
I have purchased clothes on Amazon.
What kind of, like shoes?
To be honest, yeah, I know, shoes, yes. But I've also sent back. Once in a while, I'm like, oh, that's a good sweater.
That's okay, though. I feel like that's kind of the point, right?
No.
Yeah. I'm kind of scared to buy clothes online. Well, just in general, but online, definitely, because things fit me very weird.
Yeah, no, it was not a success. It was definitely not a success for me.
But this, I mean, it's kind of universal, right? So I guess it's kind of
it's one size fits all.
Yeah.
But Damon made a good point that he said that things like this, like reversible jackets, people don't use that functionality. It's a novelty idea. I agree too.
There's anything that's reversible like
reversible comforters,
reversible
same thing.
backpacks. They've even had those.
No, they don't.
Yeah, swear.
I don't even believe that.
I swear.
Reversible inside out?
Huh?
Like inside out.
There's pockets on both sides, so when you like flip it, it does the thing.
All backpacks have pockets on both sides.
No, but it's like it appears that I'll look it up right now. Reversible.
And everyone listening goes radio silent, literally.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, there it is. Reversible backpack.
You're gonna pass the
look
computer
at
over
it.
here
Spencer's.
so I can see?
The Spencer's Online, the authority on backpacks. Everybody knows that.
Spencer's has everything.
Fantasy Stats Guru. Lapel Project is online now, and they have a special for $39.99 for black or blue. Thank you, Fantasy Stats Guru. He also says, I could see Mark wearing Maverick style ones for events for the team. Yeah, I agree, but I do agree with Zoe. I feel like that cheapens the whole idea. And then it becomes a novelty thing where you're licensing to all these different companies. And then it's like the flip-flop thing we saw last week, or the slides.
Right. You have to know what it is. Is this a novelty or is it a legitimate thing? Because even blacks don't always match. Like, you can't wear a pair of black pants with a different black top or even a suit.
Which is frustrating.
Yes.
Shouldn't that be universal?
It should be.
It's just black.
So you couldn't just go buy your black lapels because putting it on a black suit jacket, they won't match. It has to be a texture to make it work, like a velvet or a satin or something like that.
That's true. I guess that's the danger with the tuxedos.
Well, but nice tuxedos have like that satin finish, so that's where I think it could work.
You can see how very little I know about tuxedos because I've worn one twice. At prom.
Twice.
I went to prom twice.
Junior and senior prom.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
Very sad. Let's take a moment of silence for me. No.
I was feeling it.
They did. I do agree about the reversible coat thing, though. A reversible thing. It's you teeter that edge of just silliness a little bit.
I just think it's effort to reverse it, and generally you like one pattern more than the other, so you're not going to bother.
You know what else? I have owned a great deal of reversible things that I did not know were reversible.
Like what? A backpack?
A backpack for one. No, but they have like reversible shorts. They do, like sport shorts. Reversible belts. Those are pretty common. That's the one I'm normal. Like, that's, but you know the thing that turns? You know, like the reversible. Yeah. I want somebody to invent a reversible belt that doesn't pinch you every now and then when you're wearing it on the reversible
I get
thing.
What you're saying.
I hate that thing. Anyway, so they did end up getting a deal with Mark, $150,000 for 30%, which I think was about right.
Yeah, I think it's a good deal.
Because he's bringing a lot to the table. The exclusive Amazon deal, the sports connection, the kids, blah, blah, blah. What were you going to say?
Well, I just caught this note that I'd made. Didn't you love when Damon made that Zoolander face? Do you know what I'm talking about? That was great.
Yes.
When they were all up there trying on the lapels and he did the face, it was like perfect. Yeah. And I just saw Zoolander 2 finally, so it's really fresh in my mind.
There's something about Damon this season too.
Is he perkier a little bit?
He feels perkier, and he looks like he grew up a little bit. I don't want to say he looks older. I don't know. He feels like
I don't feel
more sophisticated.
Oh, I was gonna say almost maybe even the reverse if he's perkier.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we're only 2 episodes in. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the Lapel Project, Zoe?
I don't think so. I like it. I like the name. I like the guys.
In or out?
In. It's fun.
I'm definitely in. I think this will do well. I think if they market to people like me that don't have the tuxes, that'll be great.
You know what they should also do is do it for like regular jackets. Like I think they're called peacoats. That's what I have. You know, like I have lapels on that. That would be a way to spice up the jacket and make it interesting. Like mine is like a black cashmere, but if it doesn't damage fabrics, then you could put it on and have some, and that's where you would get the fun patterns. Like I could see wearing stars and stripes, for example, on a jacket like that.
You're wearing a coat on the 4th of July?
Perhaps not.
Depends on what part of the country you're in.
That was the only thing I could think of was the stars and stripes. I was like, what else was on there?
You know, I kind of wish that they would have shown it to us on a different jacket other than black.
They did.
Did they?
The guy
was it a white one?
No, he had the maroon tuxedo.
Well, I mean, like, you know, like a gray.
Really?
A denim.
You can't imagine. A denim? What denim
Not
tuxedo
denim,
do you own?
Navy blue. Denim. I'm at Jay Leno. Anyways.
No, it's Britney and Justin Timberlake, right? Didn't they wear denim to the Grammys or some award show? They matched, Oh my
goodness. They need Lapel Project. Although the only thing with the project, I might drop that at some point. Maybe they should change the name because it seems like it's not finished.
Oh, because it's project. Interesting, yeah.
Food for thought.
But then it's just the lapel.
That's true. That's true.
Nah, that's not good.
The lapel is pretty nondescript. Next up in the tank, good hang-ups. 100,000 for 10%. It's magnetic strips for art. So the whole deal with this is a different kind of sticky without the damage. What do we have normally? We have 3M strips, we have nails, we have screws, we have hooks, all of these types of things, picture wire, whatever you want to call it. These are essentially 3M strips that are magnetic.
Right.
That you then put magnets on top of. What did you think of this?
If this weren't already a proven concept based on how much she's made and the fact that she's on QVC, I would say no go. It's just like a piece of tape. And your paper or whatever you hang has to be very lightweight. How strong are those magnets? That
was my biggest question, and they never asked about that.
They never did.
They never asked about that, which was so surprising because it's like the stuff that is not heavy enough to need like heavier duty stuff is generally things I'm okay with kind of risking it with the 3M strips or the nails or whatever, because it's like if it's not heavy enough, it's probably cheap. It's probably throw it, you know, whatever. I kind of think that this is a problem that doesn't really need to be solved necessarily.
I feel like it's a novelty type problem because you could also take like a magnetic clip and put that somewhere, and then you would just clip your artwork. and you're not moving it, because that's the thing, is they aren't moving. You're not changing around your wall. She's still saying those base ones stay there, essentially.
And if they had, you know, it's like, it's the same aesthetic when people put the push pins into things, because there's the little push pin looking magnets on the front. I don't like that, really.
Right.
It's kind of, and this is no offense, I mean, it's just kind of personal taste. I think that if there was a way to attach it to the wall safely without having nothing on the front, I don't know
without
how.
having nothing?
Huh?
Without having nothing?
Without having nothing on the front. Without having anything on the front.
Yeah.
I think that that would be kind of a better setup. I don't know how that's possible.
Well, wait, no, of course how it's possible, because what you're doing is sticking, if that magnet that's going on the wall can be removed without leaving any residue, it could also be on paper then, right? And you can remove it from paper, so you could just put that magnetic piece on the back.
I mean, there's a thought.
I'm just thinking it's possible. I have to say, I loved her. I thought
she was great.
Fantastic.
She was working the room too.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And she did not really need to be in the tank. It didn't seem like,
No.
especially 100,000.
She's already been on QVC.
Yeah.
50% of the sales, 450,000 in the first. I mean, that's ridiculous. Especially for something where there's a bajillion people in the market competing with you. 3M, the nail company. Do people? Are there nail companies?
No.
Okay.
Home Depot.
That's why I did this, just in case. You can fill it in later. And then like the hooks and stuff, I guess, are kind of 3M and or
I think
store
it's all
brands or
3M,
whatever.
isn't it?
Most of it.
I mean, everything.
So really, you're kind of going up against them.
Yeah.
I wonder if she was ever approached for
for
like a
acquisition.
buyout or something. Maybe she will now. I have no idea. I agree with Lori. The packaging was kind of meh.
Yeah, I agree too.
It kind of looked like, I don't know. It was like a phone. It looked like a phone charger. You know, like the phone banks. It was just, the labeling made it look like tech.
You know what it reminded me of? This is going to sound silly, I don't know. But so I do a lot of crafting. It reminded me of like the corners that you use for, if you want to put like a photograph in a scrapbook, you basically slide the photo into those little triangle corners. I don't know what they're actually called.
I think they're just called
triangle corners.
Triangle corners.
So that's what the box looked like to me.
Yeah, I agree. Which, I mean, if you're selling it in craft stores and stuff, maybe it hits there, but I feel like the big places are, like, you would want this in Home Depot and Staples and office stores and Walmart.
I don't feel like Home Depot. Yeah, I feel like office stores, Walmart, maybe a craft store. I mean, Home Depot, I guess, sells more and more, but it doesn't seem to me to be the target, because I picture women as the I mean, certainly QVC is geared towards women, and not that women don't go to Home Depot. Yeah, exactly.
Nail it up there, just right through the art. They don't care.
Exactly. Or, I mean, like in her example, she said her son or daughter, whoever, her kid, had a lot of artwork from school. She could have bought one of those shadow box frames or something and just changed the art. Like, there were other solutions.
Yeah. Fantasy Stats Guru is watching right now, the YouTube chat. He agrees the weight thing was a possible issue, and he doesn't know why they didn't talk about it. So we had a bunch of different... Mark was out because he's like, I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
Mark probably doesn't even have art other than like pictures of basketball players in his house. Or just the basketball players themselves standing there posing. Lori made an offer $100,000 for 20%. Kevin made an offer $100,000 for 10%. Damon made an offer. What was Damon's offer?
100 for 15.
100 for 15.
And he came
then
next.
Go ahead.
Kevin was actually the low ball. Kevin was third. So it went 20, 15, 10, which was surprising.
And there's a lot of back and forth on this. I did not expect Kevin to like this. I really didn't expect Damon. I thought Lori was going to be the only one, because this is it had success on QVC already.
But doesn't it feel like, and I don't want to say this, we were talking right before the show started, how they really were kind of mean to Lori this episode, saying she only has this one talent. So and now I feel like that's exactly what I'm about to say, but I feel like this woman's already on QVC, so I was surprised that Lori was the partner that she wanted. I feel like she's already made that jump. But yes, they all have connections in other stores. Certainly Bed Bath & Beyond is like Lori's home away from home.
Yeah, definitely. But I also think that this seems like, Lori said later on, like she's a product person.
Right.
And now, a lot of the sharks are in here for just good business and good money. She's very staunchly a product person. She has the reader rest, the scrub daddy, the whoozy whatsy, all these things that sell on QVC, sell easily in the box without explanation.
Infomercials.
Bed Bath & Beyond, they're just things. that somehow make your life easier.
Yeah.
And I think that this is totally up her alley in that regard.
Yes.
And she'll be able to help it with the packaging and all that, I think. And
True. That's a good. I'm really glad you said that, because you've brought me around, and now I can feel good about
the QVC.
Yes, about Lori, because I love her. Don't get me wrong, and you're right. She does
Yeah.
so many things, but all my mind stuck to was QVC, and now I see there's so much more.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder, like, I understand why people harp on her about the QVC thing, but it's also like, hey, you know what? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, if it works to sell stuff, just, like, use the crap out of it. I don't know. So she ended up countering to Lori $100,000 for a loan at 10%, 20% if the loan isn't repaid in a year. So is that 10%? That's 10% equity or 10% interest?
Well, see, I don't understand. I didn't get this deal whatsoever, and I was going to ask, or assume that someone else understood it. Because why would you give equity if it's just a loan and she's paying it back? I don't understand that. I didn't get why she converted it to a loan.
I guess because a loan, there's guaranteed payback.
Right.
So that's more attractive on one hand, but it's not attractive. 10% on $100,000 is not attractive.
No, it's nothing.
You're making 10 grand. That's not worth it.
And
so I don't, and at the most 20%, if not repaid, that's 20,000.
But
so
then maybe you're right. It's equity. So basically, if she can't repay it, that she's getting more equity in the company. Yeah. But again, if she can't repay it in that first year, it means basically Lori and/or the Shark Tank bump hasn't done its job, because she should easily be able to make that much.
Yeah.
I mean, she just made $450,000. So come on.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting though, because it's like Lori's initial offer was $100,000 for 20%. Mm-hmm. Just plain old investment. Yeah. You don't have to pay it back. And now she made a deal where this entrepreneur is going to work the hardest to make sure that the 10% happens.
Right.
Instead of working the hardest to keep the 20% going. It's an interesting deal on both ends. But I feel like, as a shark, I'd be like, nah, like 15%.
Well, no, in how you say it, though, then she's working her hardest because she knows that once she makes that money, the sooner she makes it and pays it back, then from that point on, she only has 10% equity in the company versus no matter how hard she does or doesn't work, she's losing 20% equity.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was an interesting deal. The converting it to a loan felt more like a bank loan, and it felt like there would be less incentive for Lori to also be quite so involved. True. This woman's already making plenty of money, so
because then there's literally Lori doesn't have to do any work to get the money back.
Right.
So I didn't think about that. That's very true. I wouldn't want to do that. The whole point of getting in here is strategic. She said herself, strategic partnership. I mean, if you don't have a stake in the game necessarily.
Well, I guess regardless, she has a 10% stake in the game. Yeah. So her strategic partnership.
Very, very confusing.
Yeah.
Let's not do loan offers anymore. Zoe and I get confused.
And especially when they come from the entrepreneurs and not from the sharks. I think the sharks, I get it.
Yeah, that's, and, I don't, have we ever?
They always do interest. Like Kevin does those loans a lot, and he'll add interest. There's no interest. So that's why it's also sort of a strange loan.
Yeah. So Fantasy Seth Guru reminded us, Lori kept doing, on this page, doing her "You Must Choose Me Now."
Yes, and she kept doing that this whole episode. She did it again.
No. Yeah.
Why? She was really into that.
I think because she just really liked the stuff. Mm-hmm. They do that. I think they do that
when they really like
when it's like, hey, I'm going to threaten you because I want you to be so intimidated you act with me now because I want this to happen.
But this woman had the best response when she said, I need you to know that I won't make rash decisions when we're partners. That woman was on it. Leslie, that's her name. The Good Hangups woman, Leslie. That was awesome.
Good on you.
Yeah.
So she's got the deal with Lori. Zoe, are you good hangups? Are you in or out?
Even though they're proven, I think I'm not passionate in this case. I'm going out.
I'm not passionate, but this is kind of a fear of missing out investment.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in because I think think she'll be able to sell them.
Yeah, that's all it would be if I invested my fake millions.
I'll be happy to do a loan offer. Don't have much to loan you, but
$10.
Yeah, $10 for a 2% stake. If you pay it back, 2%.
Only 1%.
If you don't pay it back, 2.5%. Want to remind everybody, subscribe to that podcast on iTunes, share it with a friend, give us a 5-star rating. And while you're there, check out a few other AfterBuzz shows. It's very easy. You just go to your phone, your smartphone, Android, iPhone, whatever. The iTunes app is on the iPhone. You have the new iPhone 7. It's already there. I don't even think you can delete it. So we're on your phone whether you want us to be or not. Every week. There you have it. Just do it. You know, you're wasting your time even listening to us right now. Go do it now. We'll wait. Are you back? Okay. They're back, Zoe.
Nice.
What were you going to say?
I have the
like
fear of missing out now. No, you didn't. And it doesn't need to be.
Do you have a fear of missing out on the next one?
No, I have a fear of missing out on the past one now. Oh,
yeah. See, I'm just like, you know what? Zoe, I get it, but I'm going to make a lot of money.
I know, and now I feel like I just missed out.
I'll give you a loan on your next one. It's fine. So third in the tank, Ice Age meals. Whew, a hefty $1 million for 10% is what they were asking for in the tank. The poem. At the beginning of this. I like what he said, like, you're trying to have fun. It was really long. I was having a hard time following. Explain to me what this is, Zoe. Aside from a healthy choice frozen meal.
That's all it is. It's a meal delivery system.
Why is it $10?
Why is it a $1 million valuation?
Why is it a $10 million valuation?
Yeah, excuse me, a $1 million investment. You're right.
It's like,
I don't know.
$12 shipping.
$10 I thought was a good price. So wait, were you saying $10 was
a
too
good
much?
price?
I would easily spend that at lunch.
I just wonder how this compares to other frozen meals. Like, I know that he's selling it as it's way better, but I actually want to have a side-by-side taste test. This guy was great. I loved this guy. But it's like, I don't know, a frozen meal is a frozen meal to me.
I wonder how much the others, I guess what I thought of, and I didn't connect it to frozen meals for whatever reason. I was thinking more like there's Blue Apron and there's another one, I can't remember what it's called, that are basically like they send you all the ingredients for your meal and then you make it at home. So that's what I was thinking. But you're right, this is frozen.
Yeah, and because that's what I also thought about too. And I was like, oh, it's another one of these. Fresh. Maybe so. But I guess the spin on this is it's paleo meals.
Right.
But even then, I guess $10 isn't that bad. But if you buy them online, you have to buy them in bulk to make the shipping worth it. And I don't know.
Well, you have to buy 12. I thought they said that's the minimum.
Oh, you have just period? Oh.
I think so. So $120 plus shipping. They said so $140 is your minimum investment. And the other thing is, did they say if it's every meal or only dinners?
Yeah, I think, I don't know.
Because $10 for a dinner, that's cheap. You can't go out to dinner for $12 or $10.
You can if you're Cameron Lewis. McDonald's is $10 now, I feel. The fast food places are just as much. No, honestly.
I don't know.
The other night, I had a last minute thing. I went through like Carl's Jr. Chicken tenders, $10.
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
I don't even believe you.
Ridiculous. Not even joking. It's like I'll just go get a rotisserie chicken. $6. More food at low prices on the Shark Tank After Show. This guy was interesting though. Degree in hotel management. Chef for Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. Beefy
workout guy.
Yeah.
I relate.
And he went to culinary school, beefy workout cam.
Well, yeah, come on. I always thought it'd be fun to go to culinary school, but then I'd be really heavy.
Feel free to start cooking.
Eat it all. I cook.
Well, I meant bringing stuff in.
Oh,
I thought that part was understood.
Nah.
I would say cooking for us, but I'm the only us here right now. So basically,
this was a very confusing thing with the CrossFit thing, though, because he said. By the way, I didn't know CrossFit. I thought it was a type of workout. I didn't know it was a brand. This is like shocking.
It's a branded workout.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a bunch of places in LA that do not have that licensed, and they just put it on the outside of their building.
I think as they say, right? It's a CrossFit workout. Is basically what they're saying. Yeah.
But don't you have to have that like
Kleenex versus
approved?
Tissue?
But there's different names. It's not CrossFit versus CrossFit.
But they're using Kleenex as their,
But it's Kleenex versus generic brand name Kleenex that's not called Kleenex. Do you know what I mean? Like they're advertising a product with the same name. You can't do that. You could say similar to Kleenex, or for fans of Kleenex, or for like sometimes you'll see that on a box, especially food, like reminds me of Frosted Flakes. But I don't know. That I did not know that, so that was surprising. It really tripped me up. I'm not going to do it either way. But they did not get a written agreement figured out, and he basically explained that he would be essentially a co-packer for CrossFit, which I'm like, well then I don't know. That completely devalues your business.
That made no sense to me. Does that just mean CrossFit will sell his stuff, that they'll both have their brand name on it? Is that all it is?
It sounded like if you're a co-packer, your name is not on it barely anywhere but a little tiny thing on the back.
Well, then CrossFit would be his co-packer, he said?
No, he said they would be a co-packer for CrossFit. Because essentially how that works...
Oh, it would be like the generic version. He'd be selling like the Trader Joe's version.
No. He would be selling the CrossFit version.
Well, but then he would also have his. So it's like you could go into Trader Joe's, right, and buy the Trader Joe's brand, or you could buy the brand name brand.
Yeah.
So in this case, they're sort of both brand
names.
names.
But again, it depends on what the deal is, because there are some deals in that space that you have exclusive to, whatever the recipes are, blah blah blah.
Right.
They would buy exclusive rights to it, and yada yada. But that was not spelled out because there was no agreement yet. And so the fact that he was using this as a means to like amp up the excitement about the company was kind of confusing. I get it, word of mouth, like, yeah, but you can't make money like off of trust necessarily, always, or good faith. I don't know. Did you?
No,
What do you have any other thoughts about this one?
I thought.
Do you see it working in grocery stores?
Well, then it's just a frozen food brand.
Right.
It's like a lean cuisine or a.
I think it would get completely passed up in grocery stores.
I was surprised they didn't call him on that, saying that's a totally different category, and do you know how hard it is to get into the frozen food category?
Yeah.
And then when he compared it to Amy's, that's been around since the 80s, well, that's what, 35 years that
There's
it's taken
a lot
them.
of like currency in that brand because it's
a
been on the shelf
Yeah.
forever.
It's been a long build. I mean, I feel like I've only heard about that brand recently.
I completely agree. And I feel like it's only gotten into the store. And even then, look at how small of a shelf space it has.
Right.
And it's not in front of frosted glass. People don't think about that.
Wait, what?
Frosted, if it's in the freezer section, it's not going to be like readily visible.
It is most of the time, unless someone has just opened the door.
But that's the thing. I don't know. It's confusing.
But if let's say someone's going to get Amy's, then they see the Ice Age meals right next to it.
Yeah.
I just think it's a different category, and I'm surprised they didn't call him on it. Like, are you going to be a meal delivery program, or are you going to be an in-the-store program? And I did not think that the poem worked at all.
No. I liked how everybody went out with the poem. That was kind of fun.
Oh, but come on. Don't you think that in the off time, the producer said, okay, everyone write a poem
Oh,
now.
Absolutely.
Or, wait, excuse me. Here, let me give you a poem to read. Not everyone write it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
they're like, let's take a water break.
Yeah,
and
here's your poem. Yeah.
But they went with it. Whatever. Yeah. No deal.
No deal.
Everybody thought the valuation was just way out of whack.
Yes.
Which is kind of sad because even if you have a really awesome business, sometimes that's so distracting that they're just like, I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
I do know one thing. When they revamp Supermarket Sweep, we're going after these.
Yes.
$10 a pop. We're going to hit that.
But how much will they be in the store?
Oh, yeah.
They'll be less. They're not going to be $10 in the store. No way.
They probably have to be more.
What, can you imagine a frozen meal that's more than $10? No.
Yeah.
I mean, even Amy's, and that's pricey.
A DiGiorno pizza is what, $5?
I don't know.
Two DiGiorno pizzas, right? Come on.
Yeah.
It's not even delivery. It's DiGiorno. Come on. So I think I know the answer to this, but Ice Age meals, Zoe, in or out?
I want to be in, but I'm out.
All right. I'm out as well. Quickly, because we're getting low on time. Tack to Bite Fish Call, $150,000 for 10%. The Duck Call, but for fish. You big fisher, Zoe?
Nope.
Big fisher woman?
Nope.
No?
What about you?
I used to a lot as a kid. I've gone on fishing trips. I don't, in California, it's like, what? We're going to fish in the LA River?
You could.
Oh, God. Can you imagine the cesspool of nasty nuclear fish that come out of that?
But I've seen people fishing at the Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah. Well, that's, ocean fish or whatever.
Really?
Ocean
That
fish?
close to the dirty pier?
No, I agree. I agree with you. But I believe, I have an easier time believing fish live in the ocean. In the LA River, the only fish you're going to find is like tilapia fillets that people have gotten rid of. That's gross.
I mean, I like tilapia fillets, but not that people have gotten rid of.
Yeah, not floating down the cesspool. So here's my big. I think this is awesome.
Okay.
Just quickly, a few of the beefs I have with it. Well, first of all, what's the kid's name? He's 17.
Jack and Jeff. Jack
you're
is the
freaking
son.
awesome. I would bend under pressure if I was you. Like, they're asking so many specific questions. He had the best answer for what the valuation was. It was kick ass.
Yep.
I would not be able to, I would spit out the wrong numbers. I wouldn't know what to say. So kudos to you. Yeah. I think it's great. I think this kind of stuff does work. I've used a bunch of different kind of lures and things like that. And it's like, this kind of stuff does work. That being said, typically something that you would buy to kind of lure fish, lures run anywhere from like a couple bucks to upwards of 20
for one more.
Yeah. Wow. But the difference is that, you know, there's a lower risk scenario there because you're not throwing that much dough away at one. And this is $99, and I kind of agree with Kevin's point. It's a little high because you don't really know theoretically if it works until you have it. It's also kind of big. I think it's really big.
Really? It was like this big, like 6 inches, I thought. 8 inches, maybe?
It's big, yeah. If you consider it, I think at least, and if you're fisher people out there, let us know what you think, but a bobber is probably an 1.5 inches in diameter, and they have smaller ones than that. Lures are anywhere from 2 to 3 inches. Sometimes they're a little longer and then have like a super long tail that kind of drags along. This just kind of looks like a brick or just a giant bobber that you throw in the water. And so I'm a little worried that they would come up and just be like, what is that? You know, and swim away. But I don't know.
Wait, these are the fish who are going, what is that?
Huh? The fish are smart.
But it makes the sound. It makes
It
the
does
shrimp
make the sound, but
and all that,
it's also
7 different
just a
sounds.
big object. So I don't, you know, I trust these guys though, because they seem super into it. And it's like, I feel like they would want to invent a product that they would use. So I dig it. $330,000 in sales in 5 months.
Amazing.
Crazy. What were you going to say?
I was just curious that they didn't hammer them more for not having an actual way to determine if it works.
Like if it was tested.
I mean, there is no way to test it. It's true.
Right.
Like, you can't have like a control group and a,
Right.
and,
And you know, it's good to show the video and stuff, but it's like, how many times you throw in the water to get that video? You know, would you try and catch a fish 100 times and this was the only, I don't know. Again, these guys seem legit. Kind of reminded me of the Bop It game because the voice quality was like, but I mean, the fish aren't going to like, I don't know.
Wait, the voice
in the
quality?
water, it's fine.
There was no voice. There's the sound of like shrimp.
There was like
a
a guy's voice when you change noises on it.
Oh.
Which I thought that was a nice feature. It's like, you're now going to shrimp. It's like, oh, what?
Okay,
but in the water, it doesn't matter. Screw it. It's all the vibrations and stuff, which I thought was interesting. They have $500,000 worth of inventory already, all paid for by their sales, which is nuts. It's great that they didn't just buy a bunch of inventory and they're in debt over their head.
But didn't they overbuy? I'm a little concerned. That's a lot of inventory.
I feel like that $330,000 in sales, you know, it's only 5 months in, so it's a bit risky, but also the more you buy, the cheaper it is type of thing.
True.
So hopefully you could drive the price down. I don't know. But $99 I feel like is a little high. I agree with Kevin. 69 to 79, somewhere in there would seem about right. We have a lot of offers on this thing. Kevin, $150,000 for 20%. Damon, $150,000 for 20%. Mark says he only fishes for money. He's out. Lori, $150,000 for 15%. Says she wants to do an infomercial, which makes sense. And the counter was for Lori at 15% for $200,000.
Right.
Lower equity, a little higher investment. But she said no because the infomercial takes a lot of time. She feels like her time is worth it. I get it. What were you going to say?
No, I was just thinking.
Oh, okay. Just computing. Crunching the numbers. Can you crunch those numbers again?
Trying to decide if I should invest.
Yeah. Well, they ended up driving Lori down because Robert said, hey, I love everything. I'm going to give you what you came for. Your valuation made sense. We ask that question all the time. You're the only one that has an answer for it. Damon was at 20%, and he said, I'm the only one that goes fishing. Right. And they were all like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. So they ended up going with Robert, which was interesting, $150,000 for 10%. And I think at the end of the day, he seemed the most into it. Damon seemed like, oh, I'd be a good partner, but Robert seemed like super into it.
Yeah.
But can we talk about how much they were crapping on Lori on this?
Yeah.
It's like everybody was doing it too. Normally it's like Kevin does it and everybody's like, hey, stop it.
Yeah.
But they were like harping on her, like, you're a fish, like, you don't know what to do. And I'm glad she stuck up for herself. Brand is my product. Like, okay, yeah, you're right.
And this is something, though, that we talked about last season as well. And I don't remember if it was with Barbara and Lori both or just one of them. But we saw this last season, too, where they were really picking on the women in particular. And it's starting to feel like a boys' club of let's turn on them without acknowledging that she is a successful businesswoman.
And you know what I think it is? I think it's sources and jealousy because she's the most profitable one of the bunch in the tank. So, you know what? Put that in your pipe and smoke it, guys. I'm happy next week, though.
With both women
Both of the ladies are back. Barbara and Lori.
You know,
I really want to see a guest that's a woman in the tank. Instead of Ashton Kutcher and Chris Satan or Catan or no, that's the SNL guy.
Yeah.
What Saka?
Yes.
You know, those guys are great, but I don't know. I would love to see somebody in there. Anyway, so Deal Robert, Tactobite Fish Call. Are you in or are you out, Zoe?
Can I be both? I think
you could be on the fence.
I think it's a great idea, but I'd say I'm not passionate about this product.
How about this? I have a proposition for you. This is the first time the Shark Tank After Show we're going to do this.
Oh.
Would you like to go in on it with me?
Yeah, I'll go in on it with you.
We'll do that.
First time ever.
Joint investment right here.
Can't wait to see how much we
have
make.
$15. So we're going to buy. We can't even afford one.
I was going to say we can't buy one.
Well, shoot.
15 minus $99.99 or $99.99 minus 15.
We're in the negative already.
Plus shipping. Plus shipping.
Really quickly, the update from this week was Illumable.
Yeah.
Love these guys. Yes, please. They were at the end of last season.
Yeah.
The Bed Bath & Beyond. They're lighting up toilets nationwide. Good job. I really want to buy one still.
They're so awesome.
I need to get one. I feel like my cat would like it. I'm going to get one of these and a city kitty.
What is a city kitty?
It was in the Shark Tank before. It trains your cat how to use the toilet.
Oh, that's so ridiculous.
It's going to happen. I'm going to give you a full report on how that's going.
I have 2 cats. I'm not interested.
Zoe, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Zoe Said What. That's Zoe Said What. You can also find me on YouTube at Zoe Hewitt Hosting, where I do a weekly movie analysis show.
There it is. What'd you review? What's the latest one up there?
Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Oh, you did that one already?
I did, and unfortunately, not so great.
Scathing movie reviews from movies from A to Z. Zoe, what is it?
Movies from A to Zoe.
Thank you. A to Zoe. Gosh, I botched that. You should never hire me as your pitchman. You can follow me at The Only Camp Shop, Twitter, Instagram, across the board, Snapchat, Facebook, all that stuff. Yeah. Our love to Chris Howard, who couldn't make it this week, at Chris Howard Live or Legendary Living. One of those. You can find him. Google him. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Fantasy Stats Guru.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.